Bobby, I mean, I don't think anybody played the game any better than he did. I remember when he first started out, he used to come to the races, and he always had the courage of his own convictions. He always seemed to know just exactly what he was going to do. He was awfully confident all the time. I remember when he wanted to get started, and we sold him a horse, filly named Pink Rose, and he always said later on, we always used to talk about it later on. But I don't think anybody did as good as him. What the hell, he got in the Hall of Fame the first year he was eligible, and he won a lot of stake races. Nobody did any better than I could in my lifetime.
Well, after he got to California, then everything changed. I mean, he started winning races, and the next thing you know, the stable got bigger and bigger, and he kept winning more and more races. And then next time we saw him in New York, he came back here. It was several years later, but he came with good horses. And whenever he came, you had him to beat, because he didn't bother to come unless he had the horse to beat.
Well, Bobby was very fair. He treated everybody fair. He was sometimes people thought he was kind of hard to deal with, but he knew what he wanted and knew what he was going to do, and he always had a plan, and he was well prepared. He was so thorough on the horse and cared about the horse, and I had a lot of success with him, and he's a great loss. I mean, he was a real good friend, and whether he rode you or not, but he always was fair, I thought, and that's all you can ask.
I was riding for him, and we got lucky. We won a lot of races, and he became one of the best trainers in America. I'm sorry that we lost Bobby. Bobby was a big part of racing. We're gonna miss him.
Well, of course, this is a disappointing thing to see what happened to Bobby, but here's a guy that came from the bottom of the rung in horse racing and worked himself to the very top. He had at the end, he had the best clients that you could possibly have, and Judd Mont, and Frank Stronach, and among others, and that's a tribute to how good a horseman he was. He could work himself up through the ranks and achieve the respect that he had from other trainers, jockeys, and owners, and work himself all the way to the Hall of Fame.
And Bobby and I had a relationship because he was training for Judd Mont. He was mainly a West Coast guy. And when I was one of the leading trainers in the late 90s, he had recommended me to take the Judd Mont horses here in the Eastern Coast. And every year I had some really nice horses for the Judd Mont family of horses, and Bobby was basically responsible for that. When I went out to California, I stayed with him out in his place in Pacific Palisades, and Bobby was kind of a quiet guy, but when you got to meet him and know him a little bit, he was a really quality person, and I just feel real bad for his life to have ended. He was only 68 years old, and now that I'm getting up in age, it's not that much older than I am. But anyway, Bobby will go down as one of the greats of all time.